you just withdraw $20,000 and you can do that in a short amount of time. So I think it's a money hack. I love doing it. Mitigate your risk, pay for an eval, activation fee. The upside is far greater. And I love doing that because it saves me from possibly losing more money. I'm just paying for eval, activation fee. And as long as I do what I do, I know that those payouts are going to come. And once you get one payout, at least within that payout little journey you're in, if you don't blow the accounts, I think you're building up your account. And then somewhat like when I got my first payout, next thing you know, I got my second one. And then they all started coming because I was just being consistent. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm getting all these payouts. Like, dang, this is tight. Like, I loved it, right?
Hey, welcome back. Here at the Market Mamas podcast, I cover a wide range of topics from the intricacies of day trading to mindset mastery and psychological growth, with the goal of the conversations being next level growth for all of us. My name is Becky, and I'm a US-based futures day trader from the Pacific Northwest. My trading experience includes trading stocks, options, crypto, and futures, with both trading a personal account as well as with prop funding companies. Over time, I found that I most enjoy the fast-paced world of intraday futures trading, so that is my primary day trading focus now. Thank you for joining me on the Market Mamas podcast today.
Hey guys, welcome back to Market Mamas, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of trading and the psychology required for success and longevity as a trader. I'm your host, Becky, and today is going to be a seriously inspiring episode that I'm so excited to be able to bring for you guys. Last fall, we sat down with an evolving options trader who is just starting to expand into futures and really getting serious about turning his passion for trading into a consistent profession. So fast forward to now, not only has he built a powerful, profitable business model, he's becoming a respected voice in the trading community, educating and inspiring others to level up their own game. You get it, you guys. From late night studying charts to building a brand that actually delivers results, Isaac has put in the work and it shows. As a full-time futures trader and educator, my guest today helps traders consistently extract profits from the market using smart risk management and confluence-based setups. Like, you guys have heard me say that a million times. Confluences make me feel so excited about my trades. He gets it. So buckle up, because today we're catching up, digging into the strategies and style behind his growth, and learning what it really takes to make the leap from trader to trading entrepreneur. So welcome back to Market Mamas, Isaac. I'm so stoked to catch up with you today about all you have been building. You're a new dad again, I think. Let's get into all the things.
For sure. No, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back. It's exciting.
Yeah, I was looking back and it was last October you were with us. And at that time you were focused on options trading, right? SPY and Q was your jam. So let's start kind of as a second recap from then. How did you transition from options to futures? Was it a big transition? How'd that go for you?
I want to say it was kind of like a slow transition. After the podcast that we did the first time, I was watching it and I noticed that I mentioned futures and that, you don't have to trade with your own money. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to actually look into this and actually mess with futures. So I was like, let me dabble with both. I was like, I'm doing options and I could do futures. I could do both of them. Then I was like, I want to primarily focus on one only. So then I was kind of like, you know what, let me stop doing options for a little bit and just primarily focus on futures. So I started day trading futures, and I started with the prop firm, because I knew that, okay, I don't want to risk my own money. Like I was doing with options, because it's high risk. You got to have your risk management on point, and you got to also have the capital. So I was like, you know what, let me get funded with a prop firm. And so I did. I got funded with prop firm, and I got multiple accounts, which I thought, this is amazing. You could have up to there's prop firms, 5 accounts, 20 accounts. And I'm like, you know what, this is awesome. So I got funded and I started grinding, being consistent, and I got my risk management on lock. And as long as you could get that on lock, then the payouts are eventually going to happen. So yeah, I changed my approach, because some prop firms have different requirements, like a minimum days to trade to get a payout, minimum balance. So instead of thinking okay, I got to meet this days, right? I was like, you know what? Let me think about how much money I can make within a month. And I know my capability and my skill level. I was like, I know I could make X amount of dollars within a month, and I'll be qualified with the minimum days. So as I changed my approach, that's where next thing you know, I was taking payouts back to back to back. And then that's kind of how my future journey started.
Okay, I love everything about that because it really kind of parallels mine, although I don't think I figured it out as fast as you. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that you can trade copy because once you have an edge and you can see a good trade coming, as long as you can do like you said, you just cut out the bullshit chasing trades that you never really had full faith in, and you aim to execute only on your best setups, and then you control the downsides. You don't need to have like these crazy home runs and a big P&L day in order for it to be really impactful in your life, right? I mean, people will trade copy to different extents that they're comfortable with. And I have had to slowly kind of get used to trade copying more so. But oftentimes I'm copying 8 to 11 accounts. And
Yeah,
so, if you take even just $100 in 11 accounts, that's 11, that's $1,100. And so it's like
yeah.
you really think it through, and then you don't have to really chase a trade or take risky trades or anything. Just take a nice little piece and it's so impactful, right?
Definitely. That's what I loved about it because I didn't have to like aim for home runs. With the prop firm, you really don't need to make much. And as long as you could be consistent, getting $50 to like maybe max 500, anywhere in between that range, you're gonna get a payout and it adds up. Like you were saying, 8, 10 accounts. If you make, let's say $500, you add that up, times it by 10, and it really changes. It helps with your trading, honestly, because I think there's less pressure, because sometimes as traders, we think like, okay, I only made $100, but I think that's like not a good mindset. I felt trapped to that before. Like when I would trade, I'll be like, oh, I made $100, but I see people making more money, but I realize, you know what? Like we gotta block out the noise, and just focus on our own journey. Everybody's at their own level, and as long as we can stay consistent, getting those base hits, it's gonna add up over time, and we're taking quality trades, and that's what it comes down to. Like I think there's always an opportunity in the market. You just have to really be patient, and that's what I'm learning too. As I'm growing, I'm learning that you don't have to trade the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just be patient. You have the whole trading session. So why are you going to rush into a trade, take a bad trade, end up losing money, didn't follow your game plan? Because we know that once you make a mistake, sometimes that leads down like a bad road. You start over trading, you start revenge trading. So I was just like, you know what? Be patient, wait for the setup to come to me, and I'll be good. Like I like giving that analogy of like, say you're out there hunting, right? You set your trap up, put the bait, and the deer's coming. Well, you're not just gonna start taking random shots. You're gonna wait. You're gonna once you have him down in your scope, you have that clear shot. Damn, you're gonna take it, right? Same thing with trading. You're gonna wait for the setup to come. Once it comes, bam, take your shot. So I like to give that analogy, and I think that's that's what helps me out.
Yeah, that's excellent because you really just need to take a bite. And as long as it's purposeful, intentional, and you waited, you're patient, you're calm, you know what you're looking for. I think that's such a powerful edge because, you can learn so much about the market, but if you don't, really figure out how to dial it in specifically about what you're looking for and what a clean execution would look like, you are shooting in the dark essentially, and that's just going to scare away all the wildlife, and you're going to get your heightened emotions, and you're going to just get frustrated and think that it's all bullshit. You didn't keep yourself calm and steady and patient and waiting, and it's such a beautiful feeling when you wait for your setup. I know you know this, but like you're like staring at the market and you're like, okay, if it just did this and this level held and this level closed inside of this range, then I would feel so good about setup. And then it happens, and you're like, damn, okay, I'm a trader. I could take this piece.
Yeah, it builds your confidence, and like, because, and you feel good after, because you'll feel bad and you'll be mad at yourself if you don't follow your game plan. That's the thing. Like we just have to follow our game plan. And if we follow that, whether we win or take a loss, as long as we stood true to our game plan and our strategy and we followed our rules, it's still a win, because you followed it, you controlled your risk, you did a good job. But it's when you don't follow it, it's when you overtrade, when you break your rules, when you just do all this bad decision making, you're going to end up feeling like crap after. And you're going to be like, man, I knew better. How come I didn't do that? So we have to have like a strong mindset, tough skin in this game, because it's not easy, but the people who like survive in this game are the ones who are putting in the work, and getting better each time, and learning how to control their downside and protect it. Because that's key right there, protecting your downside.
Yeah. I think that's a sign of maturity in trading, is that you recognize a good day as a day that you followed your process, not necessarily a day that had a big P&L. And for me, I feel like I can have days where I have a small loss or a small win, and like I just have to breathe and be content and choose to be content that this was a base hit day, for example, for your reference that you said. But then some days you'll see like a home run where you're like, this is my damn setup. Like, I feel so good about this. I see it coming. That could be a home run day. You know what I mean? Like, if you get base hits consistently and then you throw in a home run every few days, like there's been days where it's like you have more than a 10K day and all you did was take a good clean setup and you had your copier on and you just were calm, confident, patient, let it set up, scaled out at the proper targets based on your edge. It's like all of a sudden these days will start happening more and more frequently that you see a great setup and you were patient for it. And so you could fire full shot at it and then you get handsomely rewarded. And I feel like that's my favorite part that I have grown to really appreciate with the trade copying is that if I can just calm down and stay patient and allow these base hits to just be like a standard day moving the ball down the court, another analogy, then those home run days, it's like it can really make you pop, you know? You could just hold pop with your equity curve, and that's kind of great.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because you said it perfectly right there. You know, you get those base hits, and yes, of course, there's going to be days where we get those home runs. You know, but we can't just expect it every day. I think that's where it messes us up. Sometimes we could probably even get overconfident, you know, and thinking like we could be like on a 20-day winning streak and thinking like, oh man, I cracked it on the code. I'm the best trader. I'm on fire. Next thing you know, you blew your account. You know, because you can't accept a loss, or you did take a loss, but you're like, nah, I gotta get back, you know, and that's kind of a part where we have to stay disciplined. And I think if we could just stay disciplined, have our mind under control, and like how you said, it's maturity. The more you do this, the more you're gonna realize, like, is it actually worth it, you know, and you're gonna just start getting better and evolving as a trader. And like how you said, copy trading, that's a great thing that you can do with the prop firms because you take one trade. Well, say you have 5 accounts, multiply that by 5, you know, and that's the great thing about copy trading. You don't have to trade it individually, each account, you know, just do one trade, it copies all the accounts, and there you go, you made your money.
Yeah, there's a real system with it. And that also, I think, refines us in terms of traders because it makes us less like high frequency, just trying to shoot our shot at every little candle that moves. Instead, it's like, I know that I can really make this matter if I'm particular with it. So I have a question for you. So you talked about how like if you just consistently make those hits, like you only fire at your best shot. What's your best hack for being consistent with that? Because that does not come naturally. Like the candles start printing, our emotions get heightened. We want to lock in a good trade, which is something that all traders on their way to consistency and like peace with their process, I think we all have had to work through of like, how do you control the jitters and the anxiety and just wait to fire at that best shot and then be respectful if you are stopped out to not lose your mind at it?
Yeah, good question. Every day is a battle. Every day, I think as a trader, you have to perform at a high level. You have to be 100% focused, you know, because it's kind of like, you know, you're like, let's say like a football player, right? You're practicing every day, but not every day is like a game day, right? When it is a game day, you're going to want to perform at your best level because that's going to get you where you want to be. That maybe you're going to get a win like that. So like with trading, it's like we have to consistently get those base hits, you know, be thankful for those base hits. Yeah, they may not maybe home runs, but so I think just by doing that, you know, allowing yourself to like be 100%, get your mind right, just focus in, block out the noise. You know, if there's people making way more money, well, that's them. You're on your own journey and you have to just dial in, stay focused, you know, be patient, wait for the setup, and also tell yourself every day, you know, remind yourself, you know, like write it down, read it before you trade, read it while you're trading. Something that's we have to have it like in our subconscious mind. You know, I think because we have to get it installed in our mind, because sometimes when we trade, you know, we could forget about all our rules. You know, we take one bad trade and it's just like, what the heck's going on? All of a sudden you may go back to your old habits, but that's going to keep us, you know, not moving forward. You know, we're going to fall back to those traps. So we just have to stay grounded, have a good foundation. Don't hesitate, trust your process. And I think staying patient, you know, wait for the setup. And if we can wait for the setup, if it happens, take it. If it doesn't happen, well then, hey, don't trade for that day. And that's what I'm learning too. Like, I don't have to trade every day, you know, because sometimes the market, my setup is not presenting itself. And at first that was kind of hard for me because I'm so used to trading. I do it every day. And I had to just learn, like, you know what, if I miss out on today, at least I kept my money and tomorrow's a new day, So it's a still learning process, but I'm getting way better at it. I'm getting better at my patience. But yeah, I think you have to be 100% just focused, and that's gonna help you operate at a high level. And as a trader, there's so much things going on that you have to operate at that 100% level. If you're not, don't trade probably, because if you have stuff going on, family problems, birthday parties, something that's a distraction. You want to be 100% in the game while you're trading.
Yeah. My previous guest, Eddie from Easy Trading Computers, he talked about how traders really are high performance athletes at our job. It's a high performance pursuit that we are doing. There's high leverage, like high risk. Your heart rate gets elevated every time as if you are preparing to run your race. And so you really need to treat yourself as if you are the high performance athlete or high performance car or whatever have you. Like, take care of your body, be fueled up, be rested, be focused, have the distractions turned off, or else you are not really properly equipped to run this race. And the chances of you being the winner are much slimmer if you are not coming in at a 10, And I love what you said about how it takes time, because I feel like with trading, every time I think about this, it comes back to the fact that, like, I'm not a perfect trader yet, and I know that. I know the things about myself that I want to improve, but I know that I'm like so much better than I was a year ago, and then the same for a year behind that, right? And so what the biggest difference I feel like is literal trading sessions. Every single trading session, if you are curious and open and you journal about it afterwards and you think about it and you talk it out with your mentor or your community or what have you, it teaches you. So if you choose to take lessons from this market every single day, for me, that has been the hugest game changer of like recognizing that, oh my gosh, even though last week I only had 4 mediocre days, look at my end of week P&L was like legit nice.
Yeah.
And so like that repetition of like, what I did was good, even though maybe in the moment I didn't feel like it was enough. Like I wanted a bigger P&L.
Yeah.
It adds up. And so, right,
It
like
does.
those trading sessions are training us to be the trader that we want to be and then get the results. And so every outcome that is like that will help kind of reframe the neuroplasticity of our mind to
Yeah.
recognize that is great.
Yeah, no, I agree, because those base hits, they may not seem like nothing at the moment, but as long as we're green and as long as at the end of the week our P&L is positive, then we did our job. We showed up, we performed at a high level, and the market, we got rewarded by it. And that's how it comes down to, yeah, that's really how that shows maturity, and once you come to that realization, then that's when you're going to start seeing the profits, and that's going to lead you to become a profitable day trader. Even if you weren't profitable, if you start implementing those little things, it does make a difference, and I'm thankful, I've been trading for about 2.5 years. I'm not a pro. I don't know everything, but I am thankful. I feel like I've learned a lot. I've grown. I'm still growing. I'm always willing to learn. And I think that's what's kind of getting me better, because I'm not just like stubborn or stuck in my ways. I know that we can always learn from each other. We share tips and we help each other out. And that's why I love your podcast and what you're doing, because you guys keep it real. You guys have real traders. It's not all just like sunshine and rainbows. You guys actually share like psychological part, the hardships and the success. There's everything. It goes hand in hand. So, give a shout out to you guys,
Thank you, Isaac. I mean, that's literally the goal. Is I feel like training is hard. Like you really have to wrestle with some deep psychological demons when you're pushing through to this level of work that people don't really get. And I didn't understand when I got into trading. And so that's like the whole point is like, I want people to know if they're pushing through this kind of thing that like, it doesn't make you abnormal. It makes you normal. It makes this journey like a real thing. But the profits at the end are legit. I mean, you've had payouts. I've had payouts. Like it's so fucking cool, can I just say, to get paid like this. Like we are in our homes, we are raising our families, we are studying the charts, we are self-driving this entrepreneurial pursuit of trading. And it's working, if you can be patient and good people around you and have a good process. Like it's amazing to be able to take these payouts every couple of weeks and have it really be impactful for the family. So it is a real thing, but it's not without real work that you do have to like consistently show up for in order to let it build. So, I mean,
yeah, you gotta put in the work, just like anything, it's not going to come overnight, but there are ways where, find yourself a good mentor and he can help you get to where you want to be, save you from all the traps, have you on a good solid foundation where it's going to set you up for success at a faster, rate. you're the determining factor on your success. People can give you the blueprint, but it ultimately comes down to us, our choices are like, how are we going to decide the day, right? Are we going to make good choices or bad choices? And as long as we could start making those good choices and slowly get rid of the bad choices, or even fast, get rid of them fast. If you're a disciplined person and you could do it faster, well, then it's better for you. But eventually, you're going to start, getting those payouts, the prop firms and the futures. I love it because when those payouts come, it's very rewarding, and it's like if you have 10 accounts and say you could withdraw 2,000, you just withdraw $20,000 and you can do that in a short amount of time. So I think it's a money hack. I love doing it. Mitigate your risk, pay for an eval, activation fee. The upside is far greater. And I love doing that because it saves me from like possibly losing more money. I'm just paying for eval, activation fee. And as long as I do what I do, I know that those payouts are going to come. And once you get one payout, at least within that payout little journey you're in, if you don't blow the accounts, I think you're building up your account. And then somewhat like when I got my first payout, next thing you know, I got my second one. And then they all started coming because I was just being consistent. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm getting all these payouts. Like, dang, this is tight. Like, I loved it, right? And it's just, then at that point, you got to just like, maybe even check yourself. Be like, hey, I'm getting these payouts. Let me gain my composure. Let me make sure I stay grounded. Remember, this and this, because you don't want to blow those accounts, but sometimes it happens, it blows them, but you just have to like, don't give up, keep going. You did it once. If you did it once, work hard, you could do it again, but just don't rush the process. Don't be anxious, but just be patient, do what you do, and they're going to come. It's going to happen, guys. Just stay focused.
Yeah, I think letting it build, and then as you're building, protect your castle. Because then it can snowball. You can start building, and then you can start requesting payouts all the time because the accounts just slowly build and they're on different cycles. It's amazing. And I actually last week I had 2 losing days back to back, where I hit my max loss and my accounts were locked out. And I was like, the first day I went to my mentor and I was like, this is what I did wrong. Like, I was pretty calm. I was like, it's, this is what I think I saw, it's gonna be fine. I'll have a great day the next day. The next day was worse. And I had poor habits again. And I hit my max loss again, I think even quicker. And that time I came to him, I was more frustrated and like not as optimistic. And he was like, this is the old Becky. Like, this is what we worked so hard to get past. And this is not a part of who you are now when you're consistent, you're doing process. Like, what are you missing? Are you not sleeping? Like, what's going on that you need to trim out and managing your life? And it was really a good, almost like a reality check of what was going on. And he reminded me so much of like the phrase of how you train your dog. How you train your dog is how they're going to behave in calm situations and in heightened situations. And so if you train your dog to, eat at a certain time and behave this way and to bark or not bark, like the way that you train yourself as a trader is what will happen in all those given situations. And no one is perfect and it takes time to train it. And there's going to be stressors and you're going to have to recognize that was not the behavior that I'm supposed to be doing now and rein it back in. And I think, as we're training ourselves as traders, the periods where we're like, shoot, I need to do better can get shorter. And so that was really helpful for me. And then after that, I've been back in green ever since those 2 days, because it's like, I was able to be like, crap, like, thank you. You're right. This is not the who that I am now. And so I really pushed my process in terms of like live journaling and being really thorough with my hypothesis pre-market, and then focusing on my best trading executions again. And it's like, once you start getting some years behind you, it gets a little bit quicker of that reset of like, I know what serves me, what feeds my process and makes me more skilled at what I do. And so to get back to that quicker is like a sweet spot of trading where you can really start to keep the consistency. Have you found that?
Yeah, no, definitely, so good job at recognizing it and being able to have somebody to like kind of in a way put you on check, like check yourself, before you wreck yourself, because it will happen, so you gotta like, sometimes we just have to take a step back and like be like, you know what, okay, I messed up, take accountability, understand that it was your fault. It's not the market's fault. The markets don't care about you. They don't care about you. They will eat you alive. So you got to do your part. And so I think being able to recognize that if you took a losing day, took another losing day, be like, hey, all right, it doesn't feel good. All right, 2 back-to-back losing days does not feel good, and I can tell you that, right? But what is like, okay, take a second, recognize that, and know who you are. Know like, hey, I know I'm a good trader. I proved myself. I came this far and you don't suck, you know, like, so if we could just have that self-confidence, understand like who you are, like, hey, I'm a great trader, like I came this far, I made progress, like, yeah, there may be days, you know, like if we get those red days where we feel like giving up, like, man, like, is this even worth it, like, you know, but you already came this far, so it's kind of like that one song, like, I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Amen to
You
that.
know, so like I think about that sometimes, like, nah, like I'm gonna keep pushing forward, you know, like, and so it's like, no, I'm not gonna give up, like I know my capabilities, and I know that it's I didn't come across trading for no reason, and I learned the skill, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, I'm blessed to be even able to trade. You know, so it's a good thing. So good job on getting focused and staying on the grind and not giving up. You know, and getting grounded again.
I absolutely love your humility, and I think that that is one of your superpowers in terms of your success. Because if someone were to get overconfident in this game, that can kill you very fast. And I think always staying kind of grounded in the fact that Miss Market is in charge, and we
Yeah.
need to follow her lead and be patient and not, overly greedy or swing for the fences every time. I think that that is maturity and humility that takes us very far in this game. And I can see why you have stepped into mentoring so well, to be honest. Like the way that you speak about it and the experience that you have gained, I think that you would be an excellent in that role. So how has that been for you, stepping into not only just being a trader and having a busy home life with your family, but then now you do live trade? Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me about how you mentor on live trade and how that has been for you.
I do live trading, and I share my screen, right? And I think it's pretty like,
It's like you're naked in front of the class.
yeah. I mean, I share my screen. You can see my P&L on the charts. It's been good, you know. I At first it was a little bit nervousing, you know, because I don't want to like do bad when I'm trading, especially in front of everybody. I'm like, hey, they're joining my live. Like I don't take it lightly. Like I want to show them the correct way. So it's kind of keeping me accountable too, because like I'm like, okay, I'm telling them, but yeah, I'm telling myself. So I'm speaking it out loud. I'm saying be patient. I'm talking to myself as well, you know, and I tell them that I'm like, hey guys, like I'm telling you what am I thinking right now. And so I literally walk them through the whole process. You know, I'm like a Discord where I put even video modules on there where it breaks down like, you know, kind of my strategy, you know, and what everything means. And so like they learn from that, but then I think the most value they get is when I go live and they actually see me raw footage. I walk them through the process like, hey, this is my levels. This is what I'm looking for. If it goes above this price, well, I'll be looking to go long. If it goes below here, I'll be looking to go short, you know? And so at that point, they're going to start learning because the more they look, it's going to make sense to them. They're going to be like, okay, this guy's doing this and it's working. Well, then let me copy him and let me do what he's doing. I think it's a win-win for everybody. And I don't even charge. It's free, guys. Like that's the best part about it. Because you know, the money, yeah, it's cool, but we're making money in the market, you know? So it's like, who knows, you know, if people want to pay for mentorship, they can. I do one-on-one trainings where it's like in person, I can actually train them one-on-one, but honestly, I do post it all for free. So like, they could just do it there, join the lives, but it's been cool. It's been a journey. Like if I do take a losing trade, I'm like, and myself, I'm like, oh man, like took a losing trade, but I just tell them like, hey guys, like, you know, it's not always going to win, but as long as you stay within your risk tolerance, and I let them know like everybody has a different risk tolerance depending on where they're at, you know? So it's like sometimes we gotten tightened down on our risk, but other times we could, you know, be a little bit more, I guess you could say riskier, but still within your tolerance, just increase it. It depends on your account size, right? So I just tell them let's focus on the quality trades and do what we do, you know? And I feel that there are times where I do feel like if I do take like a couple of days where I lost, I'm like, man, like, but I just keep going, you know, I don't give up. And the people that are going to want to learn and show up, well, they're going to get value from it. So that's kind of like where it's been. And, but I'm thankful. I don't take it lightly. Like I want to show them a good foundation. I want to show them good habits. And even if I could just have one person like, hey, that's fine, you know, but thankfully it's growing. And I appreciate everybody who's like tuning in and actually doing it because we're all winning together and it's a beautiful thing. So kind of
See?
my take. Yeah.
This is why I needed you to come back on Market Mamas, because you're the real deal, Isaac. And I just want to give you props because I think that there's a lot of validity to that too, right? Like when you're taking a trade and you're talking it out, my mentor has encouraged me at times to literally talk out loud, even though if I'm recording, sometimes I'll record my trades and sometimes I won't. But like saying something out loud, like I'm going to be patient and I'm going to wait to see what this candle looks like when it closes. is so powerful. That's awesome. I think that would be a game changer in terms of, I would be nervous. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to trade live, just because I don't know. But talking out loud or speaking to someone else when you're trading too, like it really, I think it's grounding and encouraging for your system, and it locks you back into like, okay, before the New York session market open, this was my plan. And so right now I still am implementing my plan, even though the session has started. This is still what I'm looking for and what it would look like to be my entry criteria.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love it. I think it's helping me, in certain areas, like being patient. I'm not just going in like all anxious, ready to trade. I'm ready to trade, but I mean like taking a trade on the first candlestick, like I'm waiting, being patient, waiting for the setup. And when the trade, if it presents itself, we take the trade, and from that point, we just control our risk and then I'll also cover profit, So I do it live and it's cool, I'm staying consistent, and I just want to reach the people and help them, the ones who want to learn, so that's why I do it. And I think overall, I think it's cool, yeah, you can feel pressure, but you just don't give up and just keep going. And I mean, hey, whoever is gonna want it, they're gonna learn, they're gonna show up. So shout out to everybody who's joined my live and I've been learning. And we take wins, and the best part about it is like if we win, we're all winning together. So that's a good feeling, they're winning, I'm winning, we're all winning. So it's a win-win.
I love that. Nice.
Sick.
Okay, 2 questions.
Yeah.
So how long is your average live stream? What kind of trading session do you like to have? And then do you want to give just like a 1 or 2 minute breakdown of what your favorite strategy is?
Yeah, for sure. So typically, it's no longer than like an hour and a half. I think that if you don't find anything within that window, then the market is probably not even going to give you anything later on. So why wait? Just don't force no trades. But typically, if we find something within that hour to an hour and a half, even before that, that's like the max window. But who's to say like the next 20 minutes after the market open, you find a trade, right? Opportunity presented itself, you took it. So that's like the window. I do a pre-market analysis. I tell them, hey guys, this is what I'm looking for right now. We're on an uptrend, we're on a downtrend, whatever. Kind of like my edge, right? How I trade is like I use supportive resistance. I use the EMAs such as the 9, 20, and 50. And then I use confluence such as like the main tech stocks. So I trade the NASDAQ, and the top holders on the NASDAQ, are like Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta. Those are the top ones that hold the most percentages. So if they're all going in the same direction, most likely the NASDAQ is going to go in that direction as well. But I also keep in mind of the price action, like the volume. We have to have that momentum, and it has to break out of a certain level for me to even think about taking that trade. I've tried taking retests, I've tried taking reversals, but I found the most success on breakout trades. So I have my levels. I'll see where I have supportive resistance. Sometimes it's within like the last hour before the market opens. Sometimes we're consolidating within this area. So I'll mark it off and I'll wait for a breakout. And so if it breaks out with good momentum, I'm going to take that trade. But sometimes you just got to be patient because we may hit that point, but then it could reverse, right? So I give it a little bit of cushion, maybe like 5-6 points. And if I get that strong confirmation, well, then we're going to take that trade. So that's kind of how I do it. Like I would say I'm almost like a breakout trader. You just got to learn how to read the market, like this past month of we're in May, right? So this past month in May, to me, the market hasn't been good. It's been really choppy. I think after the whole tariff situation, things are starting to settle down. So during the tariffs, it was really good because the volatility was amazing. Like you're getting hundreds of points. Like it was dope, making a lot of money. Sick, right? As long as it went in your direction, your favorite. And so that was great. But now the market is kind of changing. So I was doing like really, really good in April, like when the tariff situation, getting payoff, boom, boom, boom. This month in May, it's kind of slowed down. I was struggling because the market shifted and it changed, right? So I had to take a quick break, like not like from trading, but just I had to reflect. And I was like, all right, well, the breakouts, they're not really happening like they were happening. So, and I don't want to do a retest or a reversal. I still want to stick to maybe like the breakout trades. Sometimes I was getting tricked out, like wicked out. It would look like it's a breakout, just do the opposite. I was like, what the heck is going on? But I was like, bro, like, I was getting frustrated a little bit, But then after I'm like, nah, you know what? Like now I'm realizing like, I don't like, yes, there's always opportunity in the market, but if your setup doesn't present itself, then like just be patient and wait more because sometimes the market condition is not a good condition to trade in. And if you try to trade in it or force it, you're going to end up losing like your money. And we don't want to lose all the hardworking money that we did up until that point, right? So I think being able to recognize it, understanding when to trade, when not to trade, even though it's kind of hard because sometimes we get tunnel vision, but we just have to learn, maybe take a step back and be like, okay, overall, like what's been happening these past couple of days or past weeks. And honestly, it's been really wicky. We kind of probably had some better movements, within a couple of days, but this month has just been kind of nasty, at least from my perspective. Yeah, I made money, but it wasn't like I was making in April. But as long as I know, like, hey, things, when this market gets better again, then I'm going to be like on that row again and do what I do. But right now, I'm just really trying to protect my capital, which I always do. But especially in these conditions, you have to be extra, like conservative, because you don't want to get wicked out and take back-to-back losses, for the whole week or something. It sucks even taking 2 losses. So imagine if you get a week pool of losses, like that would destroy you. Now, kind of for me, I think that would destroy my mental capacity, my capital, or whatever. It's gonna make me feel like not confident and stuff. So I rather just wait till like a good opportunity presents itself and take the trade to keep my confidence going and just stay grounded. But yeah, that's kind of what I do, when I go live, and how I trade, my style, my edge. Those are all the things I wait for. Those are all the things I do. I think that I'm really conservative. I'm not just taking any random trades. I'm waiting, be patient. And I think that's why my edge, I do, based on my stats, like I would say my win rate is pretty good, and as long as you control your risk, then it's just, you're going to get payouts and become profitable. And so thank God, and then also I want to thank God, because without God, I wouldn't even be where I'm at right now. He's got me to this point, because there's been times where I felt like, man, like it was getting hard, but I just say, I'm going to keep the faith. I'm going to trust in God. I know that he's going to work everything out for the good. As long as I keep doing my part, showing up, putting in the work, it's going to pay off. And I know that trading is definitely a rewarding career. And one thing I want to say is, like, whoever's interested in doing it, like, try it out, Yeah, I know it's not for everybody, but at least you give it a try, and you're not going to regret it. We have to take that leap of faith, try it out. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But you never know until you try it, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to let you guys know.
That's beautiful. Well said, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think whether people believe in God or not, I think that faith is so critical to this role, right? Like with faith in yourself, faith in God, faith in co-creating this world, faith in something behind you, some momentum behind you. If you genuinely like care and study and want this and crave it and want to pay it forward to other people, that sort of like momentum and energy pouring into anything will move something forward, as long as you are kind of genuine and putting forth effort and taking action steps that are taking you in the right direction, and holding faith in yourself and your process and in God, whatever brings you peace and knowing that you are doing a really good thing and that you have the potential to keep going. Like, it's so powerful to have that on your side. I mean, because you will take losses and you will be tested mentally, emotionally, psychologically. That's absolutely will happen to every trader. So you need to have like an arsenal of like, what are you going to do in those moments, and having some faith and peace and being able to trust who you are and that you'll be okay will get you through that.
Yeah, I mean, faith is the things that you don't see, right? It's like the you don't see, but you're hoping, and you're keeping the faith. Like how you said, if you believe in God, if you don't believe in God, well, you can still have faith. Everybody decides on what they want to believe in and like their faith process. But as far as for me, like, I keep my faith in God, and I do have faith in my ability that I'm able to have this like trading edge and be profitable and stay profitable and just not give up. Like that, all it goes hand in hand. So like, as long as you believe in yourself too, right? We have to have that self-confidence. You can't just come in here doubting, hesitate, especially when trading. You have to be like confident. You have to take those trades, because if you're hesitant, well, then that's where you could possibly go sideways and you could mess up. So you just got to like have that strong confidence. And I know everybody may not have that confidence, but find yourself a good mentor where they could guide you in the right direction, and build that confidence. One, because I know everybody has a different mindset, but and everybody comes from a different path. But if you can find someone who can help you and relate to you and get you to that better mindset, well, then it's going to help you along your trading as well.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be confident right away. Confidence needs to be earned by effort, I think. Like being too confident too soon is a recipe to get your booty kicked.
Yeah, I think a lot of us start like that too. Like when we first get into trading, you're like winning, you're like, oh, this is easy. Like, yeah, I made like $10,000 in a month or whatever. The next thing you know, you blow it all and you're like, what the heck happened? So it's just like, it builds you up, but sometimes like too much confidence is not really good. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself, So
Cheers. Yep.
Yeah, bro, that's real right there. Protect your downside and understand, that this isn't an easy road. But as traders, if you're real about it, you're gonna just, keep pushing forward and not give up. And I think those are the traders who are gonna find success, are the ones who don't give up and the ones that learn. Because it's a serious thing, guys. Like, we're dealing with money here, man. Like, we need money to survive. Like, money is not evil. Like, I want to throw that out there. Like, money's not evil. It's the love of money that's evil, right? So it's like, money's good. We need money, and we all have access to money. We all have access to that abundance. We just got to tap into it. So, hey, that's it right there. We got to tap into that, and it's ours. We just got to go and get it. That's all. It's up to us, guys. We have the choice. It's up to us. So,
yes.
Heck
awesome.
Yeah.
So good. And I do want to just circle back to something you said a few minutes ago, because the episode that came out last week with Market Mamas, I wrote it to kind of speak light into people who are having a hard time, because sometimes you really need to just take a rest, take a beat, take a moment to refocus, to reframe. If market conditions have shifted, if you're just not seeing it as clearly, if you have a big life stressor that's causing you to not be as focused and distracted, and that's impacting your trading, sometimes the best part of a progress is stopping and pausing and resetting, whether it's just overnight or taking a day off the charts, to be able to just like remember who you are. Like, remember the badass that decided to be a trader and has working their butt off for it and has made nice milestones in the journey. Even if you stumble, it's okay to take that pause and reset. Remember all the things you have to be grateful for. Let your nervous system kind of come down from it. It does heighten you up to a state of fight or flight when you're taking losses more than just one. And depending on where you're at with that and what the impact is that is leading to that, it's worth it to calm yourself down and recenter and do something that is not stressful, that kind of settles your nervous system and your heart and soul. And then when you come back, whether you miss a day or two on the charts, almost always you will be sharper. I don't know if you find this, but you'll be sharper and more focused and ready to like lock back in. And so that actually will get you more profitable faster than continuing to fight.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because so I started futures like in November of last year. So it's only been November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Well, so maybe a couple months? I don't know, but it's been a couple months, right? But I started it, and I was at first, like, I was anxious, right? Like, I was like, oh, I could get a payout real quick because I just have to trade a minimum of, like, let's say, for example, like 8 days, right? After 8 days, I could get a payout. Like, wow, I got this. Like, I'm good. I'm an options trader. Like, I could do futures. It's right. And I was blowing accounts, right? Like, I would pass the eval, and then I'll just like get funded, and it would only last like 1 or 2 days. I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. Like, but then, so I kept trying and trying and trying. Like, I had no problem passing evals. Like, but when I'll get funded, the goal is to stay funded, right? And so, like, I was trying, I kept paying and paying and paying. Obviously, that's not the way to do it, but thankfully, like, I had the funds to do it that way. If you would want to do it the right way, right? But anyways, what I'm saying is that I was anxious, and I wanted to just get a payout, and I was blowing my accounts. And I did it for like, let's see, November, December, January. So like maybe 2.5 months. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I invested an X amount of dollars, and I'm like, I haven't got a payout. Like, what the heck is going on? And I'm like, you know what? Like, it was very like a little mental, like, stumbling block for me. Like, I was like, man, like, okay, I thought this was going to be easy. But then, so I took like February off. I took February off of this year. And it was kind of hard because I love trading, right? So it was hard, but I'm like, nah, you know what? Like, I got to do it. Like, I'm going to save up money and just clear my mind, just do whatever I got to do. And so, and then I took off February. And then in March, I was like, I saved up some money. I was like, all right, so let me try futures again. And that's when I got my payouts. Like in March, I started getting consecutive payouts that whole month. I was like on a heater. I was like winning payouts kept coming. And but that you mentioned that it's like sometimes like we got to have that break, whether it's a month, whether it's a couple, like maybe less than that, it can help you, and maybe we don't think of it in that moment, but try it out. If it's not working out, maybe you're too anxious and you have to just really take that step back. Maybe take like a couple of days off, because it's good for you. I don't know what it does to your mind, but whatever it did, like I think it helped me, and I think it had something to do with it. Because if I would have kept trying and trying and trying, I probably would have lost more money and just kept blowing accounts. But since I took that pause, how you were saying, sometimes you need a break, and it does. I think it helps our mind reset, from that fight or flight mode, because it does. It has a lot to do with that, like our mind, our body, like it all plays a factor when we trade. Especially like the psychological part, like how our brain works, like that all plays a factor. So yeah, that's what happened. Like I got those payouts after I took that break, and so now it's been good. I'm funded. I'm funded with multiple accounts, and just trying to stay consistent and protect my capital at this point because of how it's been kind of choppy. But I know that as long as I protect my downside, then it'll have to really take me like a lot of losses to blow my account. But I have a hard lock in my system to where it'll have to take me like multiple back-to-back losses for me to even blow it. But throughout that time, I know I'll get wins, so that's going to keep my account alive. And that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to just do it again and not give up and keep pushing. And it's going to happen once the market gets a little bit better. So right now, that's kind of where I'm at.
Excellent job, man. I absolutely love watching you evolve. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You too. Like, your growth has been good from when I first came across you and the podcast. I could tell that you've been getting better, and just by hearing what you're saying and everything, I'm like, yeah, it's good, And I think you've been training longer than me, right?
Yeah, I'm 4 years in.
Yeah, see, you got more years in, right? So that's even better, hearing you, and like I learn from everybody. I learn from you guys, the people you have on your podcast. It's really cool, and so yeah, it's really dope what you're doing, and keep at it. Keep at it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I got my first payout in 2023. And then last year I made some actual real money that impacted my family pretty substantially. And then this year is already like on track to break down some walls.
That's good. No, that's awesome, man. Like, I love hearing that. I love it because it just shows you, it gives you kind of like somewhat of a peace knowing that if you've only been in this a year, 2 years, like it will get better. As long as you get better, like work on yourself and your trading habits, then it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So like hearing you that you've been in it 4 years and you got your biggest payouts last year and you're even doing good this year, it's kind of motivating me like, hey, you know what? Like I'm only 2.5 years in, so like, I'm like, hey, just imagine when I'm at 3 years and 4 years where I'm going to be. Like, I know for sure I'm going to be better to where I'm at right now. So I'm just staying consistent, and that's what I do. Like I trade full time. I still have my 9 to 5, but nothing wrong with that, but I know that I'm on my way to financial freedom. That's the goal. I don't want to work my whole life. I got my family. I want to travel. I want to do things. And I know that trading is going to give me that ability to do it. And that's why I've been sticking it out, and so it's what we do. So, but the good job. I'm proud of you for doing that. That's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Sick.
Hey,
yeah.
And this episode comes out right before Father's Day, so happy Father's Day. And
Thank
you had a
you.
new baby since we last talked. Am I wrong? Tell me, you have a few kids?
You're right. You're right. So I did have a newborn. Well, my wife, she had a newborn baby, and it's a blessing. He's healthy, strong, and I'm like, what? I look at him and I'm like, Papa's like, man, I'm doing this for you too, like they're my motivation, my family. So it's like God's my number one, he's my motivation, and then it's my family, and like and that's what keeps me going, even like during the hard times. I'm like, nah, like, man, I'm not just gonna be that average person. Like, nothing wrong with being an average person, but for me, it's not for me, right? Like, I want to give my family everything, and I know that if I put in the work, that it's gonna happen. Because you could have good intentions, right? You could have good intentions, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna get to where you want to be just by having good intentions. You got to put in the work. You got to do it. So yeah, back to my kid, right? Like, he's a blessing, man. Like, I love seeing him. Even if I do like take a loss one day, like I look at him, I'm like, I'm still winning. Like I'm blessed to be able to trade, right? So like, I have a lot to be thankful for, and I just know that like it's already gonna get better. I know that I'm confident in that, and I'm not scared to say it. Like I know that we're gonna experience little bumps in the road. As far as like trading and even in your personal life. there may be little bumps, but that's normal, you know. Just know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel as long as you keep that faith. And for me, that's what I do. Like I stay grounded, keep my faith, and that's what helps me. And then, but yeah, I love all my kids, and they're a blessing to me. And I'm a father, so shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day to you guys. Even all the single mothers that don't have, you know, the dad around, or there something happened, you know, whatever it is. But you guys hold it down too. So like recognize you too. But Father's Day, so give a shout out to the fathers.
Isaac, you're making my cheeks hurt. I was smiled so much this episode with you today. I'm just so happy to know you and to be doing this game with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, I appreciate it. So,
Our whys are a big deal. Like our families, you know,
yeah,
people
they
have
are.
different whys, different motivations, different points in their lives. But for us
Yeah,
as parents of young children, like it's huge
yeah,
for me
it
to
is.
be the example of for them of pursuing this
Yeah,
dream that will next level all of us and create a legacy that
yeah,
they can take way farther than even I'm going to take it. So
yeah.
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And I know that, like, I mean, my kids know, they're like, hey, they see me trading and they're like, you know, and they know what it is. And I'm going to teach them the skill, you know, whether they decide to do it or not, I'm going to teach them this skill because it's a high income skill. They can make money. They could be their own boss. I said, you guys could be your own bosses, do whatever you want, but I'm still going to teach you trading. Right. And they see me do it, you know, they're like, hey, daddy, did you do good? And I'm like, oh, you know, I did. Sometimes I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. But I'm like, all right, man, like they're paying attention. So it's like, I got to perform, you know, I don't want to let like, I feel like sometimes if I do take a loss or whatever, I'm like, I feel like I'm hard on myself, but it's all right, you know, because I'm like, man, I don't want to let my family down. Like, I want to be that good provider. I want to be that solid, like, person where I'm putting them, like, you know, traveling, doing what. I know that's not everything, but at least for me, that's kind of what I want. That's what I'm working towards, you know. Everybody has their own path, but for me, like, this is my path, and I'm thankful that I'm in it, and I know I'm gonna do it. So yeah.
Excellent work, my friend. All right. Well, I second your sentiments. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And if you're watching this, you're obviously a badass. So congratulations on all the things. And thank you so much for being my guest today, Isaac. I'm really glad we got this chance to catch up.
Thank you, thank you for having me on the podcast. And anyhow, me too. You know, you give us some good knowledge. So thank you again. If you guys want to like follow me on Instagram, you know, I'm Too Legit Trades, right? And then I have a Discord community. It's all free where I go live in the mornings. I have a YouTube channel that I created. Like, I'm not the best editor yet, but you know, I'm gonna get there in due time. But I throw videos out there, give you guys free game. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and you know, much love. I love what you're doing. Keep it up, and don't give up.
Thank you, Matt. And cheers to you. Same to you. We're going to keep building because our whys are everything. So
Yeah, let's get it.
yeah. All right. Well, take care, everyone. Happy trading and have a great rest of your day, Isaac.
You too.